They commanded millions per film. Their faces filled magazine covers worldwide. Red carpets rolled out at their arrival. Then, without warning, they disappeared. Not from scandal or failure, but by choice. Some walked away from $30 million contracts. Others abandoned franchises that defined a generation. The reasons remain as diverse as the lives they left behind. Tragedy, principle, exhaustion, or simply the realization that fame extracts a price too steep to pay. This is the story of 10 actors who reached the pinnacle of Hollywood success, then did something almost unthinkable in an industry built on visibility. They vanished. What drives someone to abandon everything the world tells them they should want? The answers reveal something profound about ambition, sacrifice, and what it truly means to live on one's own terms. Before we dive into their stories, consider this. If you could walk away from everything you've built to protect what matters most, would you? Hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey. Rick Moranis, the father who chose love. Over legacy. Rick Moranis owned the late 80s and early 90s. His comedic brilliance elevated Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and Spaceballs into cultural touchstones. Studios lined up with leading roles. His trajectory pointed toward decades of stardom. Then tragedy struck. His wife passed away, leaving him a single father to 2 young children. The choice emerged stark and unambiguous: continue filming or raise his kids himself. Moranis walked away in 1997, expecting a brief pause. The pause became permanent. He discovered something Hollywood rarely acknowledges. He didn't miss it. The chaos, the pressure, the constant demands evaporated, replaced by school runs and bedtime stories. When offered a role in the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot, he declined, not from bitterness or retirement, but from clarity. He became selective, choosing projects that aligned with his life, not his career. His children grew up with a present father. His legacy remained untarnished. Fans continue hoping for his return, but Moranis already found what most chase their entire lives: peace. Jack Gleeson, the king who abdicated for knowledge. Jack Gleeson made audiences despise him with visceral intensity. His portrayal of Joffrey Baratheon in Game of Thrones crafted one of television's most loathed characters. The performance showcased remarkable range for someone who began acting at 8. His early work included Batman Begins and Reign of Fire, building toward what seemed an inevitable A-list career. Then Gleeson announced his departure. Game of Thrones ended for him, not because the character died, but because he chose philosophy over fame. He returned to Ireland to study, co-founding the collapsing Horse Theatre Company in Dublin. The decision baffled industry observers. Actors spend lifetimes pursuing the platform he abandoned. But Gleeson recognized something crucial. Success in one field doesn't obligate continuation. His talent remained undeniable, his absence creating a void fans acutely feel. Yet he found fulfillment in academia and independent theater, spaces where critical thinking mattered more than box office numbers. His choice demonstrated that walking away from excellence doesn't diminish it. Sometimes the bravest performance is choosing not to perform at all. Daniel Day-Lewis, the Method Master's final curtain. Daniel Day-Lewis approached acting with religious devotion. His method consumed him entirely, transforming not just performance, but identity. 3 Academy Awards for Best Actor, a record, proved the approach transcendent. Lincoln showcased his peak, embodying the 16th president so completely that the character and actor seemed indistinguishable. After Lincoln, he retreated for 5 years to his Georgian farmhouse in County Wicklow, Ireland. The break seemed temporary, a recharge before the next obsessive transformation. He returned for Phantom Thread, collaborating again with Paul Thomas Anderson. Then, before the film's release, his publicist delivered shocking news: retirement. No explanation, no farewell tour, just silence. Day-Lewis's withdrawal wasn't failure, but self-preservation. method acting demands psychological dissolution, repeatedly fragmenting the self to inhabit others. After decades of this practice, perhaps he needed to find who remained when the roles ended. His retirement honored the craft by acknowledging its cost. Some actors chase longevity. Day-Lewis chose intensity, then had the wisdom to stop before the intensity consumed him completely. Renée Zellweger, the star who craved invisibility. Renée Zellweger won an Academy Award for Cold Mountain, cementing her status among Hollywood's elite. Her transformation into Bridget Jones became iconic, earning back-to-back Oscar nominations. Chicago showcased her versatility, proving she could sing, dance, and command the screen simultaneously. Studios courted her for every major production. Her trajectory seemed limitless. Then she vanished. Not gradually, but decisively. Zellweger stepped away from the spotlight, seeking something Hollywood rarely permits: anonymity. She craved conversations where people saw her, not the image preceding her arrival. She wanted to be heard without the baggage of celebrity defining every interaction. The industry speculated wildly. Was it exhaustion? Rejection? The truth proved simpler and more profound. She wanted a human existence. Fame creates a glass wall, visible to everyone, untouchable to most, isolating from genuine connection. Zellweger chose to shatter that barrier. Her 6-year absence allowed her to breathe, think, and exist without constant scrutiny. When she returned, it was on her terms, for projects she chose, not roles she felt obligated to accept. Her hiatus taught Hollywood an uncomfortable lesson. Stars don't owe us their presence. Kirk Cameron, the sitcom star who found faith. Kirk Cameron owned American television as Mike Seaver on Growing Pains. 7 seasons established him as the quintessential 80s heartthrob. Films like Listen to Me expanded his range. His career promised decades of leading roles. Then faith transformed everything. Cameron became a devout Christian, his religious convictions gradually superseding his acting ambitions. He didn't retire. He pivoted. Faith-based films replaced Hollywood productions. Public evangelism replaced red carpet appearances. His outspoken views on religion and social issues alienated industry gatekeepers. The relationship between Cameron and Hollywood turned adversarial. He accepted this cost willingly. For Cameron, authenticity to his beliefs mattered more than acceptance from an industry he viewed as morally compromised. He starred in films like Fireproof and Saving Christmas, projects embraced by Christian audiences and dismissed by mainstream critics. His social media became a pulpit, his interviews opportunities for testimony. Cameron's journey illustrates a crucial truth. Hollywood demands conformity more than talent. Those who refuse pay professionally. But Cameron redefined success, measuring it not by roles offered, but by principles maintained. His career transformed, not ended. He found a different audience and accepted their embrace. Amanda Bynes, the Nickelodeon princess who walked away. Amanda Bynes defined millennial childhood. Nickelodeon made her a household name before she reached adolescence. Her transition to film seemed effortless. She's the Man and Hairspray showcased comedic timing that critics compared to Lucille Ball. At 24, with the Critics' Choice Award and a Screen Actors Guild nomination, her career soared. Then she tweeted 4 words that stopped Hollywood. I quit acting. No gradual fade, no strategic hiatus. Just a blunt declaration. If enjoyment disappeared, continuation became pointless. The honesty shocked an industry built on perseverance regardless of personal cost. Her subsequent years grew turbulent. Public struggles and personal challenges dominated headlines that once celebrated her talent. In 2018, she mentioned a potential comeback. That return hasn't materialized. The entertainment world moves rapidly, filling vacancies before the departed finish packing. Bynes' story raises uncomfortable questions about child stardom's cost. She achieved more by 24 than most do in lifetimes. Yet somewhere between childhood fame and adult autonomy, the joy evaporated. Her withdrawal wasn't just from acting, but from the version of herself that performing demanded. Sometimes walking away isn't giving up. It's the only path to survival. Michael J. Fox, the fighter who chose dignity. Michael J. Fox became America's favorite time traveler in Back to the Future, then television's beloved optimist on Family Ties. Doc Hollywood and numerous other roles proved his range extended beyond the characters that made him famous. His charm seemed effortless, his career trajectory secure for decades. Then Parkinson's disease arrived, diagnosed in 1991 when Fox was just 30. He continued working, hiding the tremors, fighting through symptoms that gradually intensified. His determination inspired millions. But in 2020, watching Leonardo DiCaprio struggle with lines in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Fox recognized his own recent experiences. The scene mirrored his challenges filming The Good Fight. He announced permanent retirement, not from defeat, but from acceptance. Parkinson's had taken too much. Continuing meant compromising the dignity he maintained throughout his diagnosis. Fox chose advocacy over acting, channeling his energy into the Michael J. Fox Foundation, which has raised over $2 billion for Parkinson's research. His exit demonstrated profound courage. Knowing when to stop requires more strength than pushing forward. Fox gave audiences decades of joy, then gave the Parkinson's community leadership, funding, and hope. His legacy expanded beyond entertainment into genuine human impact. Sean Connery, the Bond who found paradise. Sean Connery polished coffins before he embodied James Bond. That origin story became Hollywood legend. Working-class Scott transforms into cinema's most iconic spy. 7 Bond films established his legend. The Untouchables earned him an Oscar. Highlander and Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade proved his range. For decades, his presence elevated every project. Then, at 73, following The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Connery walked away. No farewell film, no retirement tour. He simply moved to the Bahamas and stopped returning calls. The decision shocked an industry accustomed to aging stars clinging to relevance through diminishing roles. But Connery had already proven everything. He'd conquered action, drama, romance, and comedy. He'd won the industry's highest honors. He'd created a character that transcended the actor. What remained? More money? Greater fame? Neither interested him. He chose peace. Bahamian beaches, golf, and privacy. No scripts, no press junkets, no pretending to care about projects chosen by committee. Connery's retirement honored his career by refusing to tarnish it with decline. He left at his peak, ensuring audiences remembered Bond, not a faded shadow desperate for one more spotlight. Meg Ryan, the rom-com queen who redefined success. Meg Ryan owned the 90s. Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail opposite Tom Hanks created templates for romantic comedies still copied today. Her chemistry with Hanks seemed magical, her timing impeccable. Audiences couldn't imagine rom-coms without her luminous presence. Dramatic turns and courage under fire, and When a Man Loves a Woman proved she wasn't limited to one genre. Then she stepped back. Not suddenly, but gradually, as romantic comedy roles dried up for actresses over 40. Hollywood's brutal calculus prioritizes youth, especially for women in romance. Rather than fight for scraps or accept roles beneath her talent, Ryan pivoted. She embraced motherhood more fully. She explored directing, stepping behind the camera to tell stories instead of starring in them. Her creativity found new outlets, unburdened by the impossible standards placed on aging actresses. The industry's loss became her gain: time, autonomy, and freedom from constant scrutiny. Ryan's influence persists. Every modern rom-com owes debt to the genre she perfected. Her withdrawal didn't diminish that legacy. Instead, it highlighted how Hollywood discards women while expecting men to age gracefully into distinguished roles. Ryan refused to participate in her own diminishment. She walked away with dignity intact. Kat Dennings, the sitcom success who found security. Kat Dennings rode Two Broke Girls to financial freedom. The sitcom's 138 episodes generated massive syndication deals, each episode grossing $1.7 million. Her portrayal of Max Black resonated with audiences, making her one of television's most recognizable faces. Simultaneously, her role as Darcy Lewis in Marvel's Thor films expanded her reach into blockbuster territory. Then she disappeared from Marvel projects without explanation. Two Broke Girls ended. Speculation swirled. A 2016 breakup with musician Josh Groban coincided with the show's final season, adding personal tumult to professional transition. For someone whose face had been ubiquitous, the sudden absence felt conspicuous. But Dennings made a strategic choice. Sitcom syndication provided financial security most actors never achieve. She could afford to be selective. Rather than chase every opportunity, she waited for projects that genuinely interested her. Hulu's Dollface represented that calculated return, a role exploring post-breakup female friendship with depth and humor. Dennings's hiatus demonstrated wisdom rare in young actors. Fame creates pressure to stay constantly visible, but visibility without purpose becomes exhausting. She chose quality over quantity, security over desperation. Her career continues, but on her timeline, serving her goals, not industry expectations. That's perhaps the ultimate Hollywood success. These 10 actors share something beyond talent or success. They recognize that careers, no matter how glittering, are not lives. They understood that walking away from what the world celebrates often leads toward what the soul requires. Their choices illuminate 3 profound truths. First, success and fulfillment aren't synonymous. Millions per film mean nothing if joy disappears. Second, timing matters. Knowing when to stop, before decline, before desperation, preserves dignity and legacy. Third, courage manifests not just in performance, but in the wisdom to stop performing. Some walked away for family, others for health, faith, or simply the exhaustion of pretending. Each found something beyond the spotlight: peace, purpose, or simply themselves. Their absences remind us that the bravest act isn't always stepping forward into the light. Sometimes it's stepping back into the shadows, where real life exists, unhurried and unobserved. The screen will always hunger for new faces. But these 10 chose something rarer than fame. They chose to live deliberately on terms they defined. In an industry built on visibility, their invisibility became their greatest statement. They proved that you can have everything the world offers and still choose to walk away. That's not failure, that's freedom. Which of these stories resonated most with you? Drop their initials in the comments. And if you believe that true success means living authentically, subscribe and join us as we continue exploring the untold stories behind the headlines. Until next time, remember, the spotlight fades, but the life you build in the shadows endures forever.